Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the follow-up video on the Brock Lesnar returning to UFC. That was a video that I made, honestly, probably about a week ago. Since then, the story, honestly, has not gone away. Brock Lesnar has entered back into the USADA testing program where he will be tested, but now his suspension that was turned off when he filed for retirement is now starting to ticking days away. As of right now, the rumor is that Jon Jones, who won his big fight against Daniel Cormier, reclaiming his championship that he never lost. It was one hell of a fight. Those two guys went in there. They beat the hell out of each other. Jon Jones came out on top like he always does. I think that honestly Jon Jones is a punk. He tries to play himself as a babyface, and I think almost most fans see through that. But I think there are a lot of fans out there that love Jon Jones because they love his fighting style. They know that he's going to go out there and more often than not, he's not going to lose. But I honestly think that he's biting off more than he can chew. Because as of right now, the rumor on the street is that Brock Lesnar will be making his return back to UFC later in this year. I think it is targeted for the Madison Square Garden UFC show, where he will fight against Jon Jones, a man that weighs 40 to 50 pounds less than he does. I know a lot of people jumped on board with UFC, in 2005, 2006, when he was really going through his boom period with Tito Ortiz and others like that. But for those who watched UFC back in the early days, when it first came to existence, where you would see, the judo fighter fighting against a sumo fighter, and they would just put all sorts of pairs of just different fighting styles, basically to see what would happen. Those shows honestly were car crashes. There were not that many very good fights, but they're very there was a lot of really good knockouts and submissions and things like that, and some stars like the Gracies, as well as Ken Shamrock, were born out of that. This fight to me seems like the ultimate car crash that UFC is going to be becoming, with the sale of UFC last year. For, I can't even remember, was it $2 billion, I think is what it was. Lots and lots of money. And the company that came in and bought UFC needs to make that money up to the point where they're starting to make money. They can't just be having this company lose money. And just pairing these freak show fights together. We've already got Mayweather going up against Conor McGregor next month. Boxer versus MMA, although it's not a UFC pay-per-view. Basically, there's going to be a percentage of the pay-per-view going to UFC, so they will be making money for basically loaning out Conor McGregor to go do this. Everybody's in a win-win situation here, and we'll see where they go. But to me, honestly, having your light heavyweight champion and Jon Jones go up against Brock Lesnar, a former heavyweight champion, I don't really honestly see the appeal. I mean, it basically goes into the whole, Kevin Nash and TNA storyline, where basically Kevin Nash was saying that on any given day, even on his worst day, a big man will always beat a really, good little guy. And Jon Jones ain't little. But, I mean, you put those two guys next to each other, Brock Lesnar is going to tower over him. And Jon's going to have his work set out for him to basically, find a way to be able to take him down and keep him down. Brock's a big dude. I think that this honestly is a big fight for UFC. But to me, honestly, it does have a really big freak appeal to it. I want to pick Jon Jones because Jon Jones to me honestly seems like the guy who never loses. But it's hard for me to pick against Brock Lesnar. But although Brock does have things going against him, he hasn't fought in UFC in over a year. He fought at UFC 200, where he won. Although he was disqualified for the fact that he failed his pre-fight and post-fight drug tests, even though he had passed a few drug tests before getting to the main event. So we'll see what happens. As of right now, I'm picking Brock, but it's hard to pick against Sean Jones as well. We'll see more on this story as soon as this fight is named. My guess is it's probably going to be named maybe even at the McGregor fight against Mayweather next month.